What's going on, everyone? So today is the awaited date of Philadelphia and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is returning to Philly, and there's a lot of hype and excitement about like what's to come. How are the fans going to respond and treat Ben Simmons? You know, the fans are very likely going to go after him. Will he be able to mentally handle it? Will he be able to go out there and perform? What is going to be the end result? Problem is, I feel like this is kind of lackluster because Philly's missing like their entire team, and so with that, it's kind of hard to like get pumped and really see what kind of Ben Simmons we're going to get. What this is, though, is this could be a good confidence building game for Ben Simmons. Like if I was the Nets, I'm calling Ben Simmons' number a lot tonight, right? I want him to go to work in Philly. I want him to dominate in Philly, and I want to put him in a position to dominate. Even if you lose the game, but Ben Simmons gives you like 30, 15, and 10, I would be okay with that. Because what it does is it's going to boost Ben Simmons' confidence, which he really needs. He needs that confidence boost, right? And if you could put him in a position to where he could have success in that just volatile crowd that is Philadelphia, I think that could do a lot for Ben Simmons going forward. Because it's not just about this game. It's about you needing him this entire season in the playoffs and going forward, right? And the last 3 games, he's really stepped up. He's averaging 16 points a game over the last 3 games. He's, a great ball handler, playmaker, defender, rebounder, does everything great. Problem is his shooting and scoring. Then he's been in this just like mental space the last few years, and he seems to be kind of getting out of it a little bit, but Philly could be a very unique turning point, right? Philadelphia, this game could be a real confidence destroyer or a real confidence booster. And if you're the Nets, you're doing everything you can to make this a confidence booster, right? Especially when you don't have Embiid, especially when you don't have, Maxey and Harden, all the guys in Philly. Like, this is a game that you should probably run through, and in order to run through it, I would run through it with Ben Simmons. Like, I would use this as a game for Ben Simmons to just dominate, embrace the booze, embrace all the madness, shut up the crowd, have a monster game. Because if he has that monster game, what that does is that gives him the confidence and that gives him the motivation going forward. Because he's not looking at it as like, oh, they don't have anybody. He's looking at it as like, I have to go into Philly. I have to play against this crowd that is going to, taunt me and just, harass me and say all these things. And my mental state is, whatever his mental state is. And for him to have that boat of confidence to go in there and the team trusting him, hey man, tonight's your night. This is about you tonight. We need you to take over this game. Give him an opportunity to really take over this game. I really think that could do a lot going forward. So that way when you do face them, and they are at full strength, or you run into them in the playoffs, stuff like that, you have a confident Ben Simmons that was like, I can do this. Like, I already dealt with the fans. I dealt with all the drama, dealt with all the BS. I had a monster game, and he has that in his mind as like a foundation. And yes, now he's playing against the Hardens, the Maxies, the Embiid, stuff like that. But he already got through the crowd mess, right? He already got through the hard part. The players, let the players say what they want to say. It's more of just the crowd, the atmosphere, the environment. He needs to be able to overcome that. I don't think he's going to have a problem, trying to shut up Embiid or shut up, Maxey or Tobias Harris or things like that. Like, I don't think that that's going to be a problem. I think it's just the mass of people, him being in this atmosphere, him being in this environment where people are just screaming at him and at his head. I think we need to see him sort of be able to overcome that tonight. And I think you need to feed the beast. Let him have a great game tonight. Let him, he's also got to be fair, he's also got to take it into his hands. You know what I mean? Like if you could try to put him in that position, and if he just doesn't accept it and embrace it, then it's a bit of a problem. But even if he misses his first like 5 shots or something, I would just keep giving him the ball, right? Like, hey, don't worry about it. This one is your one. And like just build that confidence because you need him. You need him not only now, you need him to continue to play the way he's playing, because the way he's playing is what many people had hoped to make the Brooklyn Nets legit contenders, to make Brooklyn like a legit team. Now, I would love to have Ben Simmons play this game against everybody on Philly and still try to get him to have a monster game, because I think that would just, if he did, especially if you win the game and he has like I said, he has like a 25, 15 and 10 game or something crazy like that, right? And you're just like, man, I just think that would take his confidence to a completely another level, and that would really help going forward. But regardless, you're still in Philly, you still have the crowd, you still have the atmosphere, you still have the environment. Like, utilize Ben Simmons. Let him go dominate, because he's playing against a team that he should be able to dominate, because they don't have the guys that can kind of slow him down. So let him go be that monster. Let him go have a big game. Now, in the same breath, you also run the risk of, like, his confidence being lowered because of that. But I think, say he goes out and he has a terrible game, I think your argument and like what you say to him and you pull him aside at the end of the game is like, hey, you know what? It's your first game back in Philly. Don't worry about it. I think he could shake it off, right? I don't think the impact of him having a bad game would be as big as him having a good game, right? I don't think the negative would be as bad as the positive. I think the positive really could just spark that continued confidence going forward. And I think that is key. Ben Simmons, they can get back. Everyone always talks about Philly Ben Simmons, right? I've said the same thing, right? If Brooklyn can get Philly Ben Simmons, now you're talking about like a legit scary team, right? That's what you need. A guy who all of his strengths are the Nets' weaknesses, and all of his weaknesses are the Nets' strengths. So it's like a perfect marriage. And him with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, if the three of them can get it to work, they might be the best trio, big three in the league as far as like balance scale wise, right? Ben Simmons might be one of, if not the best on-ball defenders in the league, with his size and his skill set and his length and things like that. His playmaking, his rebound, just all the intangibles that he's able to do, I think is really huge for this team, and they really need it. They really need defense in general, right? Like, I would like to see Brooklyn go and try to maybe move some of their pieces to go get like just another defender, even like a Jay Crowder, something like that, like go try to make a play and a move for Jay Crowder to like, put yourself in a position to now you have like another defender. Because I really think this team needs some ball stoppers, need some guys that can make things difficult, especially come playoff time. Like you need some guys that can make things difficult for, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Giannis, guys like that. You're never going to stop those guys, but you can make it difficult. And I think they need like one or two guys that could do that. But nonetheless, still on paper, they might be one of, if not the best teams in the league on paper. Can it translate to the game? Now they've looked nice. They win this game, they're at 500. Granted, they've had a little bit of a luxury of teams really missing players and an easier schedule and stuff, but still, you need some of those games to kind of get the confidence, get the turnaround, feel like you can win some stuff. Kyrie's back, right? I'm still kind of curious how long Kyrie stays with the Nets. I'm still not really sold that, the Nets are really bought into Kyrie and Kyrie's really bought into the Nets. I think this was more of like the Players Association got involved. So now their hands are tied and now they have to try to make Kyrie work at least for a little bit. Still wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie is off the team come the trade deadline. But still, in the meantime, if you need to try to, it's not too late to turn it around. It's not too late to put yourself in a position to try to get back into the standings. I still think they are, a top 3 team, maybe tied up there with like the Cavs, teams like that. I really do think that they're one of the better teams in the league. I still think Boston and I still think, Milwaukee are hands down better than them. That doesn't mean that I don't think that they can beat them, but I think that those two teams are just, they're the clear favorites. They're the clear 1A, 1B of the Eastern Conference. And then I think that, that 3 seed type team, not saying that they'll finish as the 3 seed, but like as far as like the talent and like the teams in general, I think they're up there with, a lot of the, like the Cleveland Cavaliers, stuff like that. Like, I think that they're not that far off from being like a legit contender. I just think you need Ben Simmons. You need him to perform. You need him to deliver. And this could be a real turning point game for this team. And I really do. I mean, this could really go either way. I think Brooklyn and Philly are kind of in the same spot. Again, Cavs, stuff like that. But in general, hopefully Ben Simmons can kind of turn it around, get himself right, get himself in a position to really dominate tonight, and then use that as a confidence builder going forward. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What do you think of Ben Simmons returning to Philly? Are you excited for this game? Are you not? Are you kind of like, yeah, they don't really have anybody, so it's it's not like it's not the anticipated return as many had hoped, or do you think of this as like no, it's not really anything? Do you think that this can be a real big confidence boosting game for Ben Simmons, or do you think it won't really matter either way? However you feel, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions either way. Let me know down in the comment section below.